Have you ever just known you're capable of more, but for some reason, something's holding you back? Well, today we're diving into Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. It's basically a guide to help you get out of your own way, stop doubting how great you are, and actually start living an awesome life. So yeah, think of this as your official wake-up call.
Sincero kicks things off with this, and it's a huge one, because if you don't get this, nothing else really matters. The whole journey to becoming a badass is an inside job. The very first step, you have to stop letting what other people might think dictate how you feel about yourself.
All right, so if we want to change, why is it so ridiculously hard sometimes? Why do we keep getting in our own way? Sincero points to this hidden culprit, what she calls the subconscious saboteur. Let's peel back the layers on this one.
I mean, Sincero just nails this feeling perfectly, doesn't she? It's that feeling like you're driving with one foot slammed on the gas and the other one slammed on the brake. You're trying so hard to move forward, but this invisible force just keeps you stuck, spinning your wheels, getting the same frustrating results again and again.
And here's where that internal fight really happens. You've got your conscious mind, right? The one that sets the goals. It's screaming, I want to be rich. But then you have your subconscious, which, by the way, was basically downloading beliefs like a sponge when you were a little kid. It might be holding on to some old idea like money causes pain. And here's the kicker. From Sincero, the subconscious always wins. It will literally keep you broke just to protect you from a danger it thinks is real.
Now, to make this inner enemy feel a little less, terrifying, Sincero gives it this hilarious nickname, the Big Snooze, or BS for short. Get it? This is the part of your ego that's running on all those old faulty beliefs. It's totally fear-based, and its only mission in life is to keep you safe and small, right where you are in your comfort zone.
This is such a perfect way to picture it. The second you decide to do something brave, finally start that business or just ask someone out, the Big Snooze has an absolute meltdown. It will claw and scream and do literally anything to stop you from going to what Sincero calls the rockin' party of your new life.
So we've met our inner saboteur. Now for the important question, what's the antidote? How do we finally turn down the volume on the Big Snooze? Well, it all starts by waking up a part of you that's probably been sleeping for way too long, your inner badass.
And this right here, this is the absolute foundation. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this. It's not about vision boards or setting goals, not at first. It's about making a deep, radical, non-negotiable decision to love yourself. Flaws, quirks, mistakes, all of it. This is the fuel for everything that comes next.
So Sincero gives us a really practical toolkit for this. First, you gotta forgive yourself. Look, you've made mistakes, you're gonna make more. Guilt is useless. Second, you have to stop the comparison game. Like she says, if Marilyn Monroe tried to be Kate Moss, the world would have missed out. And third, ditch the drama. When stuff goes wrong, instead of collapsing, get curious. Ask yourself, okay, what's the lesson here?
Just let that sink in. Your unique mix of talents, weird quirks, and life experiences, that's a one-time only offered at a universe. Hiding it doesn't just hurt you. It actually robs the world of what only you can bring. Okay, so once you're coming from a place of self-love, Sincero says you can connect to something bigger. She calls it source energy. You can call it God, the universe, spirit, the force. It really doesn't matter what you call it. The point is just recognizing you're connected to this massive energy field that you can tap into for strength and guidance. Think of it kind of like tuning an old radio. Connecting to this source energy is all about raising your personal frequency. When you're operating on a low frequency, stuck in doubt, worry, fear, you just attract more of that same static. But when you shift to a high frequency through things like faith and gratitude and love, you become a magnet for all the good stuff. For opportunity, for success, for flow. So you're working on loving yourself, you're tuning into a higher frequency. This brings us to the real turning point. This is the moment where everything can change. It's the huge difference between just wanting a new life and actually deciding to create one. Sincero uses this great story about Henry Ford to show what a real decision looks like. His engineers told him his idea for a V8 engine was impossible. He didn't say, oh, okay, let's try something else. No, he said, do it anyway.
He had made a non-negotiable decision, and reality basically had to rearrange itself to make it happen.
This is so key. Wanting something is flimsy. It always leaves a backdoor open for excuses. But deciding, that's a watertight commitment. It's the shift from saying, I'll try to go to the gym, to I am going to the gym at 5 a.m. It's not a wish anymore, it's a command. And I mean, come on, let's be honest. This is where most of us live, right? We make these decisions, but the second things get tough or our big snooze starts whining, we back off. A true decision means you are all in for the long haul, no matter what.
Okay, so you've decided. You are 100% committed. Now what? How do you actually live this, day to day, especially when all those old habits start creeping back in? This last part is all about forging that new reality and finally living an unapologetic life. Here is a huge idea from Sincero. What you call your reality isn't set in stone. It's really just a collection of stories that you repeat to yourself, over and over. And if we're really being honest, most of those stories are just really well-disguised excuses.
Do any of these sound familiar? I just can't seem to make any money. I don't have the time. I'm not good enough to start that business. These are your limiting stories. They are the lullabies your big snooze sings to you to keep you from waking up and actually changing things. The first step is just to hear them for what they are.
And she gives us this 4-step process to become the author of a new reality. First, you have to catch yourself in the story as it's happening. Second, identify the hidden benefit. Ask, what am I getting out of this? Why am I holding on to this? Third, you have to consciously rewrite a new empowering story. And fourth, and this is the most important part, you have to act in a way that proves your new badass story is the truth. And this right here is one of the biggest ways we avoid taking action. Procrastination, it's not about being lazy, it's about being scared. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. It's just your big snooze in a clever disguise, trying to keep you from the party. So in the end, that's really the final takeaway. You are the author. The life you have right now is based on a story. And if that story isn't working for you anymore, you have the absolute power to pick up the pen and write a brand new one, starting this very moment. So the only question left is, what new story will you start writing today?